president of Blue Line Futures, joining us to take a look at a couple he's got his eye on as well. Bill, welcome. A lot of focus on housing this week, well, the last couple weeks for that matter, so I figured it'd be a good topic for us to cover first. I know you keep an eye on the commodities this week. Copper to near decade highs, 450 overnight they took out. The move up has been attracting a lot of attention, to say the least. It ties into the inflation discussion many are having ahead of the Fed announcement tomorrow as well.
Yeah, copper's on a tear. You also have news of a strike in Chile. The workers there at the port are going on a strike, or planned strike news on Monday. That got prices really started off on a strong footing this week. Yeah, the previous highs, I think 460. I think we get to $5. I mean, I think copper's going to make a new record high. Maybe not this exact surge. Probably could settle in a little bit. But overall, the strong PMIs. And I've been on your morning show many times talking about China's 5-year plan was hoarding commodities. I mean, they're buying copper, metals in general. They're buying agriculture products, energies, and you're seeing a lot of countries follow in those footsteps and fear that another pandemic could come and they'd be stranded without a supply chain.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember copper starting to move higher amidst the announcement of the pandemic, as we were hearing about China and the demand increasing there and some of the building that they were doing. Let's talk a little bit about lumber, because it's not just copper. I mean, this was going to be my chart of the day before I saw that you were coming on, Bill. We figured you would give you a crack at it.
Yeah, it's a heck of a move. And even just today, I mean, it shows you how thin the market is and how it can be pushed around. That's why you're getting these limit move after limit move a lot of the times. I think something like 100 contracts were traded from an expanded limit up to an expanded limit down, and it just whipsawed. And it can be a tough market to trade. Now, we are involved in it, and we have a lot of clients involved in it. We have a lot of colleagues that are involved in it. So I mean, people ride the trend. It's been a terrific trend, but I'm not loving the prices. I want to moved into a new house last year and I want to get a deck, and it's going to cost me twice as much to build a deck this year. So I think overall a lot of people are looking in that avenue. I mean, you're getting the housing demand, you're getting the home update demand, and just the inflation in general with this economy, with people with as well, the stimulus going out, there's extra money to be spent in people's pockets. So there's a heck of a demand out there for lumber right now, and there's nothing to say this trend will stop.
Yeah, let's take a look at this trend here real quick in terms of the futures. I've got a look at how if higher this week, 7 in a row, and we're talking about down only 2 since the beginning, well, the middle of January, I guess we should say, down around that 655 level up to 1468. You mentioned housing's been very strong. Home builders is what I wanted to take a look at next. Pulte specifically, ticker symbol PHM. They just reported earnings, pretty strong to say the least. The move up is a reflection of EPS at $1.28, revenue of $2.60 billion. It fell short of expectations, but as I mentioned, they were higher. They gapped up. Last I looked, up around 4.5%.
Yeah, it's a big move out above a trendline resistance area, which now brings a floor about $52, $52.5, a rising area. I mean, the space, like I said, lumber's been on fire, the home builders have been on fire, yeah. And I mean, the trend's there. I'm personally a little underpositioned in that space and been waiting for the pullback that just hasn't come. So I think it continues to trend higher. This breakout in Pulte, Lennar, DRH, a lot of them are moving really well. It's just kind of know your spots. When you get a pullback, you get an opportunity to step in. Like I said, I'm a little under positioned, so I'm waiting for that opportunity to step in. 47.5 would be ideal given the breakout, but I don't know if we'll get there anytime soon unless there's more of a broader market correction.
Yeah, really existing or really strong, better than expected new home sales data that we saw last week, towards the end of last week. So that also kind of feeds into the narrative and certainly a reflection of what we've been seeing. Let's talk Texas Instruments, TXN, and get your thoughts in terms of an earnings preview. As far as EPS, looks like it's expected to come in at $1.56, revenue of $3.97 billion. They've had a nice move up off the pandemic lows around $90 recently to $197, but looks like the possibility that they're, well, setting up for another lower high if investors don't get something to get enthusiastic about here.
Yeah, that 90, you said it, the pandemic low, and double that would be 180. And I think that's ironically a very big area of support now in Texas Instruments. You also have the 50-day moving average rising into that. I like the stock. I don't own the stock, but Micron and Marvell are two that I do own in the space, and NVIDIA from time to time. Now, I think this strong demand from autos, electronics in general, it's great for the space. It's great for Texas Instruments. I do expect the stock to continue to perform, but I would, if it's on your buy list, look for something that 180. 180 is going to be your area to be a buyer.
All right, something to keep an eye on there. Bill, appreciate you joining us here on Midday Movers. Take a look at a couple commodities on the move and ultimately the ripple effect as we're seeing really strong data out of the housing sector in general. Always appreciate you sharing your day with us here. Part of, and Bill Baruch, ladies and gentlemen, is the president of Blue Line Futures. Always a pleasure.